Is here in the Heartland by the Trempealeau County Council of the American Legion and others.
Listen up, you filthy maggots! It's time for the Veterans Connection on WHTL.
Sir, yes, sir.
I can't hear you.
Sir, yes, sir.
Attention! You serve your country. You made the sacrifice. The Veterans Connection is here to help. So fall in line, dirtbags.
Sir, yes, sir.
What's that? I can't hear you.
Yes, Drill Sergeant!
Now pay attention. The Veterans Connection is brought to you by the Trempealeau County Council of the American Legion, International Ingredients, Reedy Concrete and Construction, Fireworks over Blair, Mondovi Insurance Agency. Now listen up. The Veterans Connection starts right now.
And it does. On the last Tuesday of the month, I get to welcome Hunter Rudnick in studio. Hunter, the Veteran Service Officer for Jackson County. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you for coming in. I really appreciate it. And did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, yep. It was a good weekend. Nice long weekend. I always like those. And, yesterday I like to make sure that everybody remembers why they had that long weekend yesterday.
Yep, very important to remember that, and a lot of people get Memorial Day and Veterans Day confused, and they're actually for two totally different reasons. And of course, Memorial Day is where we recognize those who gave the final measure of devotion to the country and lost their lives during combat.
Yeah, yep. Just a day of remembrance. There's a couple years ago I wrote a speech for a Memorial Day ceremony, and that was one of the things I had in there is, and you're having your nice long weekend and you're enjoying some beverages and eating your, barbecue, just make sure you remember what this is for and take a couple minutes and think about why we have this 3-day weekend, because it's an important one for sure.
It really is. And, so many have given their lives to protect our freedoms. We wouldn't have the country we do without them. And, God bless every single one of them, and their memories will live on forever.
Absolutely.
And on a happier note, happy birthday coming up Sunday.
Yeah, thanks.
30!
I know, I'm getting old.
Oh, you are not? You're just a kid. Come on, 30 years old?
Sometimes I feel 30, sometimes I feel about 60, so.
Yeah, I tell you, today I feel like I'm about 80, and I'm almost 80 anyway. But well, forget that analogy. But we were planting flowers all weekend long, my wife Lynn and I was crawling around and up and down and up and down and hauling here and haul. Oh my gosh, am I feeling it this morning?
Yeah, last week we hand shoveled about 5 yards of mulch around the house, and I felt like I was about 60, 70 years old. I could hardly walk. My back was so sore from doing that. So
I know. It makes you wonder why you don't live in a condo.
Right.
But anyway, Veterans Connection, of course, you have a couple of things that you'd like to talk about.
Yeah, it seemed kind of pertinent after the weekend. A lot of people in the cemeteries around and, paying their respects to their loved ones. And people you notice all the American flags on all the veterans' grave sites,
right? And
you see the granite or marble veteran stones or those bronze markers, and usually around this time of year I get asked a lot of questions about what are those, how do I get one, am I eligible for one? So that's just something I wanted to quick go over. So the VA Grave Marker Program, there's a couple different things for eligibility-wise. If you served 24 continuous months on active duty, were discharged due to service-connected disability, and you have an not honorable, other than honorable, essentially you can't have a dishonorable discharge.
Right.
You're eligible to receive one of those when you pass away. Guard and reserve members, if you're receiving a retirement, are eligible to receive retirement, or you were activated and completed that term that you were called up for on active duty, you're also eligible. There's a couple nuances in there. It's the VA. There's always nuances, but that's kind of the main basic part of it. But the questions I get asked most are, okay, what do I get to choose? What are my options? You have a couple different things you get to choose from. Obviously, the stones that I covered, the big, tall, 3-foot granite or marble ones is one option. We do a lot of the bronze, the flat bronze ones that people put on the back of like a privately purchased stones. And we have examples of those usually in our office that people can look at. Then there's a couple other things. There's the emblem of belief that's on there. So there's, all sorts of different crosses. My favorite is the landing eagle. Landing eagle always looks really super nice. There's I think there's 90 different options for emblems of belief that people can put on there. And then there is also room for the family members or veteran to choose. They call it a term of endearment. There's essentially 2 lines that you can put kind of whatever you want on there. Whether I've had people put a ship that they, like Navy veteran put a ship that they were proud to be on, or a Army veteran put their unit that they were in on there, or beloved father, grandfather, husband, all sorts of different things. You can kind of put what you want on there. So I do get asked the question, can I order that now? It's like, we cannot order it until you pass away. What we can do now, and what I've done for a lot of veterans in my office, is we get the form, we fill out what the veteran wants on that grave marker, and then I save it in their file. So when they do pass away, their family member comes into my office to see me, and I already have it 90% filled out with what they want on there, so they make sure they get what they want. They are, I can't say that I like doing them because that means a veteran passed away, but it is one of the things that it's a great way to honor that veteran's service. So there's part of me that really enjoys being able to provide those for the families of veterans when they pass away. They're a really, really neat thing. And every year I go out to Riverside Cemetery in Black River before Memorial Day and help put out all the burial flags. And it amazes me every year how many of those things are in there. It's our little communities around here. The amount of veterans is pretty impressive.
It really is, and if you drive by any cemetery this time of the year, it is amazing to take a look at. It really is, and you're talking about the headstones. Some things just stick in your mind. If you've ever been to Arlington National Cemetery, you will never forget it. It's an incredible place, but I think talking about it, my dad is buried at Fort Logan National Cemetery in Denver. And what amazes me every time I'm there, it's the simple white headstones and how they're perfectly and symmetrically laid out. I mean, it is just amazing when you stand there and look at it.
Yeah, it's even if you're over in Minnesota going to the airport and you drive past Fort Snelling. I mean, it's just it's a little somber, and it kind of catches me every time, and you get speechless for a second because it's like, man, that's really, really it's cool. I've never been out to Arlington. I really want to go out there and check that out someday because I've heard it's pretty amazing out there.
Yeah, it really is. It's the most incredible place, and you really feel history when you're there because you can walk among the headstones, and you'll read the names of people that you've learned about your whole life in history, and they're there, and it's incredible. And then watching the changing of the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown, that is remarkable.
That's something too. I get asked just kind of on the same note there. I get asked a lot in the Jackson County Courthouse. We have flags that line the first floor and some of the second floor, and I get asked a lot what those flags are. And they are veterans who lived in Jackson County that have passed away, and their families, bring the flags to the courthouse, and we display them. And it's kind of a similar thing. I'm not from Black River Falls, not from Jackson County. Originally, I've been here for, about 5 years, but I walk up and down those halls and I look up at the names on those flags, and now that I've been here for 5 years, I recognize a lot of the last names, and it's just, there's a lot of history there. It's a really cool thing that we get to do over in Jackson County. So
that's really neat. Go over and check that out if you ever get a chance.
Yep.
So, And like Hunter was saying, it's a good day. It's a time to remember the importance of Memorial Day and the sacrifices made so that we can have that cookout yesterday.
Absolutely.
All right. Anything important at the VA that we need to talk about?
Ooh, nothing too crazy right now.
More paperwork.
Yeah, everything is it's been kind of quiet here for the last month or two, so which is a good thing usually because they're not trying to make any crazy changes. So.
Well, as we've talked many times, if you're a veteran, don't be afraid to reach out and check out what benefits may be due you. The common thought is, well, that people need it worse than I do, but that's not important. What's important is you served, and make sure you do reach out. And if you're a family member of somebody who may be struggling, reach out too. Yeah,
I tell people that's one of the biggest hurdles that I have to overcome in my office on a daily basis is pride. It's everybody that joins the military, there's a sense of pride with joining the military, and there's guys out there that are worse off than me. I don't want to take anything from them. And I try to explain first of all, there's only one person in the entire world that can say that they're the worst off. There's one person that's worst. Everybody else is less worse off than that guy. Yeah. So, but the way the system is built at the VA, just because you're getting benefits doesn't take away benefits from anybody else. So the way that the system is built, you get your piece of pie, I get my piece of pie. Yeah. The Vietnam veteran gets his piece of pie. World War II veteran gets his piece of pie. So it's you're not taking anything from anybody else if you're chasing after the benefits that you earned and you deserve. So.
All right. If people want to reach out to you, what's the best way to do that?
Best way to do that is give me a call. 715-284-0226 rings right to my desk. 0225 will ring to my benefits specialist Brenda Schultz's desk. If we don't answer, please leave a message. If I don't have a voicemail, I won't call you back, but if you leave a voicemail, I'll get back to you usually within an hour, 2 hours, a day at the most, and we'll get you on the schedule.
All right. Next time I see you, it'll be past mid-year.
I know, it's crazy.
And you'll be 30.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, don't remind me.
Hunter, good to see you.
You as well.
Thank you. Hunter Rudnick, Veteran Service Officer with Jackson County. If you see him out and about, or heck, just call and wish him a happy birthday. Or if you see him, wish him a happy birthday for sure, coming up Sunday. Veterans Connection brought to you every Tuesday by the American Legion, the Council of the American Legion here in Trumbull County. Mondovi Insurance Agency, Reedy Concrete Construction, Blair Fireworks, the committee, and International Ingredient Corporation.
We are the American Legion family. This includes the American Legion Auxiliary, the Sons of the American Legion, and the Legion Riders. If you are a veteran, a spouse of a veteran, a